What if I told you a single election could end a decade of civil war? This is Kenya News Update today. Coming up, you'll discover the high-stakes gamble for peace in South Sudan and why Kenya's president is betting everything on one inclusive dialogue. Meet President William Ruto, a leader on a regional peace mission. On Sunday, February 15th, at the African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, he delivered a speech that could change the fate of a nation. But here's the twist. The path to peace is littered with broken promises and incomplete deals. For over a decade, South Sudan has been trapped in a brutal civil war. The Revitalised Agreement was supposed to be the roadmap out. It created a fragile unity government, but hold-out groups were left in the cold. And now, a deadline looms. December 2026. That's the date for South Sudan's first general election since independence, an election meant to finally end the transition. But here's what nobody's talking about. The election itself could trigger a new war if the foundations aren't solid. Ruto knows this. He chairs the African Union's high-level ad hoc committee for South Sudan, the C5+. His call wasn't just a suggestion. It was a warning. He called for the inclusion of those holdout groups and everyone excluded from the transitional government. This pivotal moment calls for renewed focus, collective resolve, strengthened partnerships, and sustained vigilance, he said. But then he dropped the bombshell, the reality check. The planned election is complicated by key preconditions that remain incomplete. And the list is terrifying: a sustainable ceasefire. Right now it's fragile. Humanitarian access and assistance. Millions are starving, civilian protection. People live in fear. Confidence building. Trust is shattered. Constitutional review. The rulebook isn't written. And a national census. They don't even know how many voters there are. 9 years of conflict. A unity government on shaky ground. And an election clock ticking down. That's not just a transition. That's a time bomb. Ruto's message is clear: inclusivity isn't optional. It's the only detonator. Without bringing every armed group, every political faction, every voice to the table, the 2026 vote won't be an election. It will be a referendum on returning to war. The stakes are unimaginable. A failed election could spill violence across borders, flooding Kenya and Uganda with new refugees, destabilizing the entire region. This is why Kenya is leading the charge. This is why Ruto is spending political capital. But here's the part that will blow your mind. This isn't just about South Sudan. This is a test case for African-led solutions. Can the African Union, through figures like Ruto, broker a peace so delicate and so complex? Or will external forces and internal fractures doom it to fail? Some say Ruto is playing a dangerous game, meddling in a neighbor's affairs. Others say he's the only regional leader with the credibility and will to prevent a catastrophe. But one question remains unanswered. With the calendar racing toward 2026 and so much work undone, can dialogue alone build a nation in time? Do you think inclusive talks can save South Sudan's election, or is the country headed for another collapse? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more on this and other breaking stories shaping our region.